Hey there guys, today we're taking a look at Call of Duty World at War Zombies running on the i5-1135G7. Now this is the OG Call of Duty Zombies game here, and we're running at 1080p with the lowest possible settings. So the performance here is pretty decent, except for situations where using the flamethrower on a lot of enemies causes the FPS to drop like crazy. But for the most part, the gameplay is going to be relatively smooth. It's just in those rare situations where you're going to be using something like this that the performance is going to tank. But at 1080p, the 1% lows in general just aren't the smoothest in the world, and the averages will sometimes just tank because of the amount of things going on. But at 1080p, it's still a very playable experience. I feel like if you don't have an FPS counter, you're not really going to care too much while you're playing the game. I would say also playing with the low settings isn't necessarily required, though I like it just to be able to hit the highest possible averages at all times. But it is still pretty playable with all of the settings turned up except for the anti-aliasing. At most I would go 2x with the anti-aliasing. Past that, you're really sacrificing a lot of performance for not that much of a visual improvement. I really don't think it's worth it. I feel like as it stands, while the graphics settings don't look amazing, the textures on a lot of things do look very flat, very not detailed. It does not detract from the gaming experience, really. And again, I would rather just hit the highest possible averages and the highest possible 1% lows that I can than have, the gun look slightly more HD. But if you're willing to take a little bit of a hit on those 1% lows, it's not really much. By my testing, it really dropped by at most 5 FPS, just setting everything to the highest possible settings. And you can tweak things around from there, but for the most part, I found just keeping things at the lowest is how I would play this, and that's how I ended up actually testing it for as long as I did. While I'm okay with the experience at 1080p, 720p does have some advantages. Specifically, it's the fact that those 1% lows end up being pretty much consistently above 60. It is such a smooth experience. You're gonna have a better time playing like this than at 1080p, at least in terms of just how responsive the game feels. This feels like a Call of Duty game, while before, having those occasional dips below even 30 would end up putting you in a situation where it felt like you weren't really playing a Call of Duty game as smooth as you would remember it being, because like Call of Duty was one of the only games on consoles that would actually run at 60 FPS, so not even being able to hit that at 1080p is disappointing. But at least at 720p you can hit well above that, and we're pretty much at this point engine limited, as you can see by the GPU not being fully utilized. And even if you look at the CPU itself, it is at 10% usage, and that's because this was back when games were using pretty much just one core, just going super hard on that one core, and that's it. So we're a little bit CPU bottleneck like that, in the sense that we can't just up the clocks there. For sure, if we could actually up the clock speed of it, maybe going all the way up into a 5 gigahertz range, then the GPU would actually be able to do more here. But even then, we're engine limited because of the fact that the Call of Duty engine does not actually let you go above 90 unless you modify it. But between 1080p and 720p, I personally would rather just play it at 720p. But if you're someone that really cares about the resolution, 1080p is there for you. It's going to be able to at least give you a half decent gaming experience. So really what you have is the flexibility of being able to play this at 1080p with the absolutely lowest settings and get a somewhat decent experience like that, or you can just set the game to 720p and get a very smooth experience. It's really just up to you. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you found this video useful. Be sure to subscribe if you did. I will see you guys next time.